Chukokadi. What does that mean to you?
Is Chukokadi sponsored? Of course it is sponsored. We saw Governor Sakaja being voted in because he has dimples. You see, of course, Maraga is quite a good administrator, but I would say a terrible politician. But Mezana is a youth-led digital platform and organization where we host conversations for change. And it's something funny with human beings. They want to be involved with success. So it fails, man, you're on your own. So personally, I identify as a liberal feminist because we champion illegal reforms that bring equality. Yeah. Activism is an everyday thing. When you see the matatu driver overlapping, calling them out, when you see the corrupt police officer, when you want to bribe to get a job, yes, and you speak up, yeah, that's activism.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Jabez Loves Conversations podcast. This is episode 4, and today I'm joined by a very special guest. Let me just read his bio so that you guys can see how impressive this guy is. Jeremiah Muuo is a master's student in gender and development at Kenyatta University. Driven by a bold passion for gender equality, social impact, and youth centered governance, through his leadership at Semezana, he actively works to create safe, inclusive spaces where young people, especially young women, can be heard, supported, and empowered to lead. Jeremiah is part of changemakers pushing for systems that reflect the voices, dreams, and realities of Kenya's youth. With every project, dialogue, and campaign, he continues to champion a future where gender equality and meaningful youth participation aren't just aspirations, but everyday practice. Rarira, you guy. Welcome, Jeremy.
Appreciate it.
How you doing?
I'm good. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Okay, I'm also very glad to be doing this with you, man. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. We scheduled it on Tuesday. Yeah, but we couldn't make it happen because of some unforeseen circumstances. But hata stimbe ilikuwa inataka kutuweka nje today. Yeah, but here we are for real, man. Here we are. Yeah, Jeremy, take it away, man. Just say some about how you've been. What you up to. How's your week? Yeah.
All right. Have been. I would say I'm managing because the week has been quite crazy, but crazy in the best of ways. I've been having classes back to back. Hakuna yenye imebounce because I think the semester right now is when like in the momentum. At the very same time, we've been running the campaign to Kokadi. We've been trying to register young folks, especially within Juja constituency, to register. Where we had a campaign on Monday, but the biggest campaign was yesterday on Wednesday. This is March 25th, yeah. Yes, but other than that, a good part of the day today is when I've been able to rest. But a series of meetings. But yeah, above it all, I'm an active citizen. I love Kenya. Yes.
It's very evident that you love Kenya, bro. Like, when it comes to like activism and just showing up for the country, for the women, and for the youth in general, bro, you're doing such an amazing job, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
But we'll get to all that. But first of all, like I've read your bio, and I know you personally, so like I know that you're a guy who's done some great feats at your tender age. So let me ask you, who's Jeremiah Muuo without all these things, without being a gender equality activist, without all strip all these things away? Like who's Jeremiah? Yeah, who's Jeremiah Muuo?
Jeremiah Mo is what is the first thing that I identify with? A young Kamba boy. You will put it like that because I don't know. I feel like folks from my tribe tend to shy away from saying that they are Kambas. Yeah, so I'm Kamba. I'm a firstborn of two. I have an Irish twin who were like 11 months away. His name is Josh. So our entire house, we are all J's. My dad is Jonathan. He's Joshua. I'm Jeremiah. But other than that, a young person who's really passionate about change, very adventurous about things. Yeah. What else? I really love music. Like I sing. I know you that you play the guitar. Yeah, I sing. I love watching black themed movies a lot, especially series. What else? Yeah. Other than that, I think I love nature. Anything to do with nature for me just does it for me. Yeah, because it's like a part of just decompressing and being in that therapeutic state. Yeah, so that's me. Yeah.
Okay, that's very nice. I've been exploring the topic of identity for a minute now. So I just wanted to know, like what do you identify as, and who are you
Okay.
when we're not watching you, when you're not being an activist, when you're not pushing for change, like who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you have an Irish twin, bro. Like that's such a crazy plot twist. Like what did that? How did this happen, man? Like okay, without.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not being intrusive.
No, 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 no. So I normally ask my mom how I ended up having an Irish twin. So she's like, Miss Sikumbuki, I just realized I'm pregnant. Yeah, but yeah, we're like 11 months apart. And yeah. So yeah, we were born Kifuatana. And then after that, my parents were like, you know what? We call it Arab. Yeah, so that's how I ended up with an Irish twin. But I would say I actually wouldn't love any other form of sibling relation than having an Irish twin, because I think we've like grown up together, doing things together. So he's like a best friend because we're almost the same age. Yeah, if I'll put it like that. But also, sibling wrangles because we're almost the same age. So you guys tend to fight for a lot of things in the house. But at least my mom is a mama's boy, so she's able to manage the niggas in the house. Yeah.
You see a nigga though, bro. Irish, like he's mixed.
No, Irish twin simply means twins who have an age difference of months.
Wow, I
You
thought
know,
like this
oh
girl
God,
that
like having
Irish.
an Irish twin who's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Irish by nationality.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
thought this nigga likes like I don't know, whiskey or something.
Okay.
Came out of the womb
No, no,
drinking
no, no.
Guinness.
That's what Irish twin is the name that we give to folks who have been born with 11, 12, like less than a year. Yeah.
This is so embarrassing, man.
Nah,
Like,
it's not. We always learn something new every day. Yeah.
like I think I was caught off guard with such stuff because there was this day we were at the hospital, and then like the way they usually show directions, like if you want to go to this unit, like follow this direction,
Yeah.
and I saw occupational therapist. So at first I thought that like kama haujui what to do in life, you can go see this guy because an accident occupation.
Wow. So they are a career therapist. Damn. Bro. What? So what happened when you got there?
No, like I was going somewhere else. So I was my cousin, and she told me, no, they don't do that. Like, like they help like kids, they're just they help like people with special needs and stuff like that.
Yeah, they work the same way as physiotherapists.
Yeah, so I learned that, and I was like,
Somebody's going
yeah.
for a career counseling session. Bro, it's crazy.
I don't know. I feel like maybe that's because like I'm at that point in my life right now where I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out stuff. But anyways,
Cool.
Chukokadi. What does that mean to you, bro?
Tukokadi basically means somebody exercising their constitutional right. So in our Kenyan constitution, we have 18 chapters. Yeah. And chapter 4 of the constitution, the Bill of Rights, mandates every Kenyan in Article 38, you have the right to be registered as a voter, you have the right to belong to a political party, and also to make a political decision when it comes to elections. So Tukokadi basically for me means you being able to exercise that form of right. And yeah, so Tukokadi is a campaign which was started by Alan Sademba. He's a very good friend of mine. And so through the campaign, it's aimed at registering as many young people as possible ahead of the 2027 elections coming up. So yeah, Tukokadi is just you being a registered voter in Kenya. So I don't know whether Ukokadi, Jabez.
Okay. Acha niseme hivi. No, me, I'm always walking around with a superiority complex.
Okay.
I'm like I'm better than all of you because me I voted last election, so I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I have this shit on lock. And me, I like the Kokadi campaign and initiative because I remember in 2022, that time, like I tried to like rally up, people around me, my close friends, relatives, families, cousins, to register so that you can vote. But like they were like, we can never make change. It's
That
just
is too big to fit.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just only one vote. So what change can that make? Me, I was like, this thing. It's not that you're just one person. It's like a continuum. It's like that those a million votes
Yeah.
are just a series of one adding up to like a million. So like, and it's also like a very complicated exponential relationship, because if you say that you're not going to register as a voter,
Yeah.
like the people that you have direct influence over, they'll see you and they're like, if this guy isn't going to vote,
Who am I
me,
to not
who am I? And
Yeah.
you might affect like five people, and then like call five people,
They affect
like
others.
it affect others. So it becomes like a very huge geometric progression, and then like no one ends up registering. So to see like this turnaround and the youth actually being excited to like register to
Register.
vote to make a change, bruh, it's such an amazing thing.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. Because also my first time voting was 2022, and I remember I got registered like 1 week remaining because I was like, I'm never going to vote in this country. This country has nothing good to offer. So one of my classmates, I remember at that time we registered on campus, JQuat. Then it was like after class, 22 chukue kuruka nayo. Then of course got registered, went home. Then on the election day, I was telling my parents I'm not going to vote. It's your thing as old folks. You know, this country is yours. For us as young people, we don't care. Then I remember my mom stressing up, like, you just go vote this time round and then you see what happens. So I remember that time, election day, the next day, 6 in the morning, bro. I was in the queue. I was the only young person. When I'm saying only, I mean it. I was like the only young person of that age. I was 19. Yeah, till like 10 a.m. is when I started seeing folks almost of my age coming to the queue. That time I had voted for the current president. Oops, I'm part of the problem. Yeah. But if you ask me, I would say that time he's the best of the candidates that I saw. But anyway, this conversation is not about him. But looking back to where I am currently, I can really say that election is not an event. Election is a process. So electoral reforms really have to happen even in our household levels. Jabez, you have to get that voters card. You, your cousin, your folks, your family, your friends. Then you have to understand how do party politics happen. Then why do we vote? Then what happens after voting? It's not that day. Yeah.
Because I wanted to ask, by the way, like
Mhm.
you've pointed a lot of things out. Like elections is not an event; it's a process.
Yeah, it's
Like,
not.
because we have so many youth queuing to register as voters. Like how sure are we that they know what they're doing, or why are they registering to vote?
Okay.
Do you think the youth know why? It's just like a group mentality thing, because right now Tukokadi is the cool thing, it's the in thing
It's a
to do,
trend.
the trend to do. Like, you go take your voter's card and then take a photo, post it on IG, TikTok, or whatever. It's just a trend. Like, how sure are you that the youth know what they're doing?
I wouldn't really bank on it and say 100% young people know what they are doing while getting the voters card. Of course, one thing I've seen with us as Gens is we want to be cool with whatever trend is happening, and it's a good thing that Tukokadi is a positive trend. But there is a place of civic education and awareness. Young people did not see the essence of registering as voters before, and now they see that in as much as it's a trend, but also we don't leave it at Tukokadi and then you being registered as Jabez, and then what next? We are definitely going to see a surge of awareness being created now on why you vote, how you vote, what is Form 34B, you see, what is the IBC better. So one thing I'll say, of course, it's a continuum process, as I've said, it's not on the election day only. So Kokadi will be able to carry that conversation ahead post you getting that voters card. Yeah, the good thing is a lot of civic societies and even young people who have invested, themselves to understand in this space of electoral processes. They are more than willing to help young people understand as well. But in as much as also this information maybe is being brought out by people, we have AI to help you understand it better. We see people curate TikToks to help you better. One thing I'm saying is it's just about to look good when it comes to people understanding really how does the system work when it comes to election and governance in Kenya. Yeah.
That's very nice because I think the current trend has been, like young people are using whatever avenues they can
Yeah.
to mentor each other about whatever is happening in the country and just to civically educate each other, using IG, TikTok,
Yeah.
uh,
Twitter too.
Twitter, even remember during the time when we had the finance bill protests, like, like someone integrated like the stuff into ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
to
like
interpret it.
you could query any questions and then you could get to know more about what it meant, because these things really have a lot of jargon. So unless you're like a seasoned lawyer,
Yeah.
you really can't
Tell them how it is.
understand. You really can't
Really?
understand.
Mm.
Yeah. By the way, why do you think that these things are usually so complex? Like, are they meant to deter the layman, the normal person, from understanding whatever is going on?
Of course, they are meant to deter the normal mananchi, or yeah, from understanding them, because before we have the constitution that we have today, the 2010 constitution, even before the white man came to Africa, we also had a constitution. Just that when they came, they told us this is a formal constitution because it's written in English and it's documented as well. Our elders, villages, and tribes used to have rules and laws which guided them. That was our constitution. My grandmother could understand that constitution says do not steal, do not ABCD. And so when it was quote unquote formalized by the white man, then now became quite complex because Kenya borrows heavily on the British form of governance and system. So through that way, only became it's a lawyer's thing or a politician's thing. Me as a normal Mwananchi, as long as I have voted for Jabez in this seat, he'll represent me, and that's it. That's why we even see people today demanding our MP has not built a road for us. That's not the work of the MP. The work of the MP is only three things: to legislate, to represent, and to oversee. Period. There is no way an MP should be touching funds. So even CDF is an illegal fund with the MP. But far from that, it's good they remain as complex as they are in terms of the language it does, but civic awareness and education is where now the government fails, because it deliberately fails from educating young people and even normal citizens on ABCDs what happens, because they know when they do that, people will keep them accountable. And as we know, corrupt leaders and corrupt governance is always away from what accountability looks like. Yeah. So yeah, but I think with young people, we are trying to simplify it as simple as possible. Yeah, we are changing the system.
Yeah, I asked that because personally, I usually like following the path of least resistance. When I see something and then it starts getting too complicated, bro, I just switch off my
Wrap
brain.
it
I'm
up.
like, wrap it up, wrap it up. Kwanzaa, if it's not something that's affecting me, maybe like directly, because
Yeah,
politics affects you, but mostly like maybe not
attempts indirectly.
indirectly. You get at
Yeah.
times, so like maybe you won't bother. You can live a good life being apathetic, to be honest, but
True.
you shouldn't. So like once it starts being complicated, I'm like, I'm clocked out. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyways, on the MP thing, I
Mhm.
actually think they do influence the building of roads, because
They do.
2 years ago, I was working in Kera
Yeah.
as an attaché. Yeah, I was doing my attachment there, and I remember they usually build around 6 roads, but in every constituency in a year. Yeah, so like there's a certain number of roads that the MP has to give a green light.
Mm.
So they usually have like someone who's on the ground, and then they kind of get people's thoughts and opinions about which road should be built,
Okay.
and then the person gives them the feedback, and then they can now green light. So
Okay.
in a way, they do affect like maybe what roads can be built, but
Yeah, but
anyway.
that's now the part of representation.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not them having the money to come and
Yeah,
build the road.
yeah,
Yeah.
I get you, bro. So now I want to ask something. Let me be the devil's advocate, because we can't agree all the time.
Yeah, bring it on.
Okay. We're having some technical issues. Our lights have gone off.
Yeah.
Producer, can we be seen? Are we okay? Okay. I think we can just continue. ama you can cut it. Yeah. Okay, so we're back. We had a bit of some technical difficulties, but we've sorted them out. Yeah, so let's continue. So I was saying, let me be the devil's advocate.
Okay.
Yeah, because we can't agree all the time. Yeah, so I wanted to ask. I've seen Tukokadi, like it's a great initiative, very organic. Yeah, like people have turned out in numbers to come and register to vote. Like it's a very commendable thing. But the word on the corner says that there's some money that's circulating around, yeah, to finance some of these things. And okay, for me, I'm just thinking, okay, some things some things need money, like logistics, moving around need money. So like do we just hate Kenchikwan enough to finance these things ourselves and move around and do all these things? Ama there's some person whose interests align with ours, who's chipping in with some stuff like.
Okay. Well, is Tukokadi sponsored? Of course, it is sponsored, but it is sponsored by people's anger, people's frustrations. Resources, hell nah. Personally, I've coordinated Juja chapter. No single fucking cent from nobody. I paid my graphics to do a poster. I've used my own internet to create a group chat, make calls, mobilize people. Yesterday at the queue, folks were hungry and thirsty. We have no money, bro. What will you do? Yeah, but the good thing, in as much as they were hungry and thirsty, folks still queued to the evening because they have a reason as to why they are there. Have people reached out to give me money? Hell yeah, but I don't need your blood money, because of course that ends up tying you to something. Because now seems like they've bought you, and that definitely disillusions the organic nature of that initiative. But of course, it's an initiative which needs money. But if that money was coming from people who have, pure motives for it, we'll definitely take it up. But there is no way now you're coming to me telling me I'm gonna give you 50 G's to do this program, but make sure these folks have to register in Juja for me to get elected as an MP or MCA. It's a choice to choose where they want to register. It's their right to whether register or not. You see, so you also given terms and conditions. It's still given like you have control over folks, and that's what we are really trying to defy. And that's why when the president came about with hata mimi niko kadi, now young people, we were like, you know what, this week we're gonna register 1 million just to get on your nerves more, because this shit endures. Yeah, but even with at the national level, it's not sponsored because we are in the same group chat with a few folks who are also doing Tokokadi in different parts of the country, Ademba included, Tatiana included. No one has been able to give us money. Even we were just making jokes on the group chat yesterday evening. Man, it's so tedious that we are doing all this the entire day for free. We're not getting no money, no support, no single coin. Yeah, so it's not sponsored resource wise, but we're using our own money. But also it's sponsored by frustration and the anger that young people have. That's why they are so willing to vote one term next year. Yeah.
Let me just ask you a question, quick question. So let's say I'm Jabez,
Okay.
billionaire,
Billionaire Jabez.
billionaire Jabez. I don't really have any interests. Like I
Yeah.
just seen the initiative. I like what you guys are doing. I don't have any ulterior motives. I'm like, guy, how much do you
Yeah.
need?
Yeah.
I give you the money, no strings attached. What will that like when you get like funding? What do you think you can achieve? Like what do you think you can achieve that you can't really do right now when you have the funding?
Ah, billionaire Jab is giving us say like 50 G's, not even a lot of money. 50 G's, we can do a lot. Because first off, in process of fundraising, we have well wishers and now we have donors and sponsors, all that. So you're giving it without any strings attached. You're a well wisher to the initiative, which is good. Okay, but that bit of, if we were to even get resources, will mobilize more. I'm sure still there is that poster. It has not reached out somewhere who is still in Juja, someone who is in Juja. At the very same time, our way of organizing has been minimized to only digital. There is much more we can do with resources. Because one thing I'll say when it comes to advocacy, resources play a very integral bit of doing the work that you do. Because even for example, the organization that I run, Simezana, we've never received a single coin from anyone. That's usually money from well wishes and money from my own pockets. But we tend to do a lot of work. Yeah, so if we were to get even like resources and funding, there is much more as people who could be able to do even with Chokokadi as a campaign. Yeah.
Okay, and then let me ask. So obviously, like you've maybe received tempting offers from people who maybe want to compromise you in a way, or in a way, I'd say, yeah. So like, how do you stay level-headed, and how do you keep the vision in mind, and deny whatever incentives or money that you're being offered?
Okay. I'll say what I always believe everyone has a price. Today, if I was to buy Jabez to be my slave or to be someone under me, I know Ghana table the motion on slave trade. But anyway, if I was to buy Jabez, okay, to be my person, there is a price you should name. Either a million, 10 million, a billion, name it. I'll give it to you and then you do what I tell you. So personally for me, I have a price, but my price is not quantified to money. My price is quantified to the values and morals that I uphold as a person. But one thing I'll say is when it comes to you being a person who interacts with every caliber of people in this Nairobi, leave alone even Kenya, because Nairobi is such a den. I've met tempting offers that one I won't deny, but I have a philosophy which drives my life. And personally, I'm a Christian. So Christianity for me shapes a lot of decisions that I make, a lot of deals that I end up doing. So yeah, there is no way you'll buy me with 100,000. I cannot even sustain that money for like a week. That's low, man. Level up your game. Yeah, so everybody has a price, but yeah, it depends on what philosophy drives you. Yeah.
Okay, okay. That's well answered, bro. Very media trained.
You
very,
have to
very,
be.
very media trained. Okay. Let me take you back to 2022. You said you voted for Ruto.
Yeah.
You and right now you are against him, rightfully so.
Yeah, I am
Eh,
totally.
yeah, because I remember even during that time, like a lot of my friends, like they voted for the guy, but he didn't keep his word. Like,
Such a liar.
yeah, he didn't keep his word. Yeah,
Mhm.
so there's no harm in maybe revolting against him and going back to your choices and being like, maybe, okay, with hindsight, you only know with hindsight.
Yeah,
Of course you couldn't crystal ball the future and be like, this will happen.
he's gonna do this.
So there's that grace, but at least we are trying to undo whatever was done.
Sure.
Because for me, I remember 2022 was such a dark year.
Mhm.
For me personally, I think that time, you remember when the year started around March, the war in Russia and Ukraine started,
Yeah,
and then just prices of stuff started skyrocketing.
way up.
Yeah, because I remember we used to be like, I don't know, like a huge importer of wheat products from Ukraine.
Yeah.
Bro, the bread that used to cost 90 bob in high school was now like 130 or something. Couldn't even I could not even eat cookies, like the ones that I usually buy on a daily.
Yeah.
Life was just getting so horrible. Then there was a time where we couldn't even eat ugali, bro.
Because ugali imepanda.
Ugali, yeah, it was some shit ugali, bro. Some
Yeah.
yellow ugali, some grade C, some grade Z. Walai, I don't even a grade
And
B.
I'm sure those were just the corn which is given to horses in somewhere in Mexico.
For real, walai. Like that's animal. That's animal feed,
It
walai.
is. It is. The moment you ever see a girl which is yellow, personally, I think it's, hey, this belongs to the horse. Yeah. But unfortunately, such food ends up in Africa. Yeah. So those are such systemic inequalities that we face as a people. Yeah. But carry on. Unga ugali ilipanda.
Ugali. I remember Ken Chikwan, bro. Like one of the promises he was making was like, when I get into government in a month, I mean, in a couple of
The
weeks.
moment I lay down the Bible, that's what he said. It was not even a month. Akiwekelea Biblia hivi. Kenya is working. And he bought me that, man. He bought me in. Yeah.
Right, right,
Because
okay.
for me, I was like, now I was like, in 100 days, we're gonna see a lot. Nigga, you have such potential, man. And then what's with all? Okay, at times I really feel like we really need to be sober while making decisions, because the peak of things that's why I voted for that nigga is he was Christian. I was like, finally, we're gonna have somebody who loves the Lord, who's gonna do the Lord's work the right way. Corruption out, Nini out. Now I'm even wondering with somebody like former emeritus Maraga. At one point, when interviewed about corruption, whether he's ever taken bribes, he lifted the Bible and said, "In my entire life, I've never ever received a single bribe." So right now he's vying for presidency. Of course, we gotta believe in somebody, and he's Christian, he's SDA, and that's totally fine. But now my query is, if I'm to vote for people now on basis of faith, are we really gonna end up? Because for somebody like President Ruto, personally, he bought me with that, and what he's been able to do in the last 4 years, you're far away from what you said. Yeah, so that now brings in the point which I was saying, there is much to do when it comes to civic awareness. That me voting for Jabez as the school president, Jabez is not a matter of he has ABCD, he has a cool car, he has ABCD, he's good looking. The way we saw Governor Sakaja being voted in because he has dimples, you see. So you have to look past that. What is in his head? What are his
This
ideologies?
guy started a TikTok account. You can edit zake looking good.
Imagine.
And then the mamas, bro, they were eating that shit up, bro. I don't know, Lingiza Sakaja.
Meanwhile, and I tell you, like Sakaja was not only voted in with baddies, everybody, the dimples bought them. So we really have to overlook even the bit of good, looking cute and shit. Man, leave that for his wife and girlfriends, for people to pick. He's a leader. What is he really talking about? It's not a matter he's well dressed. It's not a matter of he has charisma. Just look at ideologies. Because when Maraga came through, people are like, "I he's not giving." So it's a definition of giving, because he's not standing up on podiums and abusing politicians. Of course, right now I'm not like endorsing anyone, but the thing is, looking at him as a person compared to other characters who have been in the game, he's sort of different. But Kenyan seems like there is that way we've been conditioned that a politician has to be rowdy. If Jabez has not abused Jeremiah while campaigning, Jabez is not a politician enough, you see. Yeah, but I don't know. Once bitten, twice shy. 2027, you better do it right.
Let's talk about Maraga for a bit. Because he's a good guy, yes, no problem. Yeah, I think he'd make a good president, at least. Okay, again, you can only learn stuff from hindsight. But when people say he doesn't have charisma, no, you know what I think. As a politician, you need to have some poise and some confidence and some aura about you, because sometimes it's not even about maybe solving the problem first. It's about the way you address the people. Like, let's say when there's a disaster, bro, Maraga can't calm me down.
Really?
Yeah.
And though it's so soft spoken.
No, 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 no. Like, there's a way. Even Ken Chikwan, like, he's a good orator. Like Sakajas, as much as they are not really working in the back end, but like that, offering you assurance, just to come.
Do this,
Yeah, it's flooded, but like I think that gives, like, sometimes people need that.
True, true.
Sometimes people
That
do
voice
need it.
from a leader.
That's what, yeah.
Yeah. But also, that's where the bit of strategy has to happen. Of course, Maraga is quite a good administrator, but I would say a terrible politician, because we saw the judiciary really work very independently when he was a CJ. And even looking at the history in other places where he served, systems really worked. I'll say for him, maybe he can now get a deputy who, quote unquote, now has the aura, or, you know, that bit of speaking up to people, because also they have to get a balance. That's why I would say for like Kenchikwan and Rigiji, they had such a clash because all of them are way up on their horses. They could not be contained in the same chain of leadership. But look at Kibaki. Kibaki, I would say they share personality with Maraga. And Kibaki, why not for him? Kenya right now could be Zimbabwe. Do you know that? We realize a lot of development because of that dude. Yeah, so I'm sure wherever he is on his grave for the last 2 decades. No, he's died in 2022. for the last couple of years that he's been dead, I'm sure he's just been rolling on his grave and disappointed because he built a lot for Kenya within 10 years. So, in as much as Kenchikwan wants like a two-term, like, nigga, 5 years have gone. You've actually taken the country back. JKI right now is facing I don't know how many billions losses. We only made profits for the first time in 10 years, 2024, 25, and 26. I don't know. I saw in a report we've lost like 4 billion between January and now. So Baraga, as a person, I'll just say he can get somebody. Maybe he can also partner with somebody like Sifuna. It's a combination I'm curious to see about because also Maraga and Kalonzo, same WhatsApp group. Yeah. And Mother Caro, at least she's sort of outgoing because I remember there is a time when I was growing up when she was in, is it PNU? She was called the only man in PNU because Mother Karua was fire. Yeah, she's such an iron lady. Yeah, so maybe Maraga can pair up with somebody who is able at least to balance that side of personality for him.
Mama and Baba, Mama and Baba, bro. They had me on a chokehold, man.
Azimio.
For real, for real, man. Like, bro, I don't. That time, I feel like leading up to the elections, bro, like they had me on a chokehold, and it was a good time.
Yeah.
But I remember immediately, like, it was announced that Ruto had won, bro.
You're like, shit.
It was such a dark time, bro. Me, I was like, bro, when I was posting, like being disappointed.
Yeah.
Like some friends now, they were replying to my status, laughing, bro,
What?
laughing at me, bro. You guys were laughing at some of you. Well, like legit, like I was like disappointed, like I've posted, and then someone's replying, laughing,
Yeah.
and then I remember like my mom was silent for like a whole month, bro.
This school
She couldn't speak, bro. She
Wow.
used to go to work, come back, eat, then sleep, bro. Like we never had like a conversation for a month, bro.
She's like, shit.
Yeah, she was like,
It's
yeah,
doomsday.
yeah, she was like, yeah, this country is fucked. even even my dad, like, it was just a terrible time. It
It was.
yeah,
But can I tell you something?
yeah.
Also, I think I faced the same thing. So that day, I remember posting all up yellow because I think Uda is yellow and green. All up yellow saying, yes, finally, we've got him. And then a friend of mine replied and says, and you guys, for the next 5 years, you will cry yourselves to dryness. And trust me, even if Baba was the one sitting on that seat today, nothing could be different. Nothing could be different. They could all be the same, trust me. Could have seen an handshake. Either we could have seen Uhuru back in the control of government. That's why now when we were at the streets on 2024, we were like, Fagia water, wrap these entire people out. And I think I saw a tweet of somebody who died. He's so famous on Twitter. Like his tweets resurfaced after 2024. And I can't remember the name. Yeah, he said the day the Odingas, the Kenyatas, and the Koinanges and the Mois will leave Kenya is the day Kenya will be liberated. So, unpopular opinion, Baba resting, not dying, Baba resting for me was like at least Kenyan people can make decisions without being told this is the way. They can think for themselves. That's why at least right now we're even seeing organic demonstrations, we're seeing organic campaigns like tuko kadi. Normally it used to be baba amesema tuendee kura, baba amesema tusipige kura. We will see that. So for him being able to rest, of course he did a very big part in us getting the constitution, which is allowing us to do that right now. But we needed them out, and we need all of them to be out. Yeah.
Kabete one, that's his Twitter. Jacob Juma.
Jacob Juma, yes,
Bro,
yes, that's the dude.
that guy is the embodiment of you can kill the man, but not the idea.
Not the idea, like 2015 tweets were surfacing in 2024, bro. Are you speaking from your grave?
For real, bro.
Yeah.
Because everything that happens, he usually just does something that he tweeted,
Which is relevant
which is
today.
relevant today.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. Yeah, but he was also some crazy tricky guy, bro.
Of course, his ideologies were not all right.
Yeah, not even ideology. He was also like this guy he had some stuff with land.
Land grab.
So like he's also like the Jimmy Wanjigi type, where like you're in, and then these people try do something like they leave you out, and then you start like whistleblowing. Because I remember
Retaliate.
he had like he wanted some mining tender or something. I'll fact check that. And then I think I don't know which ministry for I think Ministry for Mining, they wanted to extort his company. Like they wanted some huge chunk of money up front. So the guy was like, "Hey, this is too much." You look so hapo ndo akaanza ku go in a different way with like the gava, and then all of the all of the shenanigans followed. Like I'm not really sure. Don't quote me. I'll fact check alafu niweke screenshots up. Because I realized, with podcasts, it's so easy to misinform people.
You really have to have your facts right.
Yeah, so like, yeah, off my brain, but I'll fact check that story, and then like we'll get back to it. Yeah, but anyways, we're talking about Maraga, Sifuna. What do you think about Sifuna?
Was it not for ODM? Personally, I wouldn't ever know Sifuna. Okay, him as a person, he's a good person when you listen to his ideologies. At least he's been able to stick to the ideologies which Baba championed for. Accountability, ABCD. He's a good candidate. But there is a lot to a person for you to be sure about him. So I would say only time will tell between now and 27 for me to be able to say about ABCD. But I would say he has sober ideologies. He's quite a very important voice in Senate because at least he's been able to really play his role as a senator. Representation, oversight, and legislation. That he's been able to do as well. Yes, kudos to Sifuna. That one I'll give him. For me, he's one of the best performing senators we've ever had. Yeah. Sakajo's like that before though, while on Senate.
Kaja. But for me, I was like, how did we forgo Polycarp, bro?
Yeah.
Technocrats, bro.
He was
That
not
guy,
cute enough for Nairobi baddies.
that guy was a technocrat, bro.
He was.
Like if you see his track record, let me just read the shit. So, managing director for Vivo Energy Kenya, executive vice president of sales and marketing at Vivo Energy Africa, chief commercial officer MD at Equity Group Holdings, and MD at Taco Industries, bro. Like this is guy who has a proven track record.
And he was not even there to loot. He has the money. These
For
are the
real.
companies he's working with.
For real. Like this is a sharp technocrat, bro. Like this is a good manager, good leader.
Yeah.
Like how did we forgo this? And this guy for Sakaja, bro.
But then
How?
he looked Polycarp, he looked performative. You remember he would go to Mtu Smocha, make smochas for people. He'll go to Mama Mboga, kata mboga for people. So people were like, this is some fake shit, bro. So we ain't doing this. And as I'm telling you, like Sakaja was a Sifuna while he was on Senate. So he had performed so good in Senate that people believed in him until he got to the gubernatorial seat and now he failed us. So I'll say for Polycarp, of course, he's such a technocrat. I think if we were elected as a governor, we'd see Nairobi work, maybe, but we'll really be in a position to handle cartels because Nairobi has never had like a two-term governor. As well as I think Nairobi governors have all faced impeachment from Kidero to Sonko. Sonko actually never even finished his term. And Sakaja, he was at the surge of not finishing his term. So I ain't sure whether Polycarp would have sustained that because now Polycarp also has no aura. He's quite a conservative guy. So I can imagine how much politics will also have done to him. But I guess my 2027, personally, I will endorse him. Let's see what the nigga can do. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're very right. On Polycarp being performative. Msa alikuwa anaingia kwa basi sijui anakuwa makanga.
Mpaka amepiga watu majab kule kwa TV.
Real. Yeah. And I think where he lost it was during the debate, the gubernatorial debate, where Sakaja just wiped the floor with him. Like you could see, like, Sakaja is really good at.
He's a good orator.
He's a good orator. So yeah, I remember that debate where he was speaking about how he wants to turn Nairobi into like a New York of sorts, have boroughs, decentralized services. So like if you're in Embakasi, you don't have to go to do CBD. Like he was saying all that stuff with just you guy. So
Yeah.
like people, it was so easy it was so easy for him to sway people, and I think that's where Igede just lost it.
Lost it. Yeah.
Even Matakarua, Rigathi wiped the floor with her, bruh.
Big time.
Big
Kwanza that was on and remember he had like Kenya. So yeah.
But like he was the underdog leading up to that because we knew Matakarua and Lady, bro. She's seasoned for this, bro. Like regarding you've seen he's sloppy at times. Like he
Yeah,
doesn't articulate himself well sometimes. Usually goes on a tangent. Yeah, yeah. But the guy came prepared, bro. Me I was just like, hey,
I hear you, mate.
yeah, you guy. Yeah, but a word on the corner is Polycarp was actually like planted to go for the gubernatorial
Gubernatorial seat.
by Uhuru.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be Timonyonyi. You
Wow.
know Timonyonyi?
I think I've had it. The kind MP Westlands? Yeah.
Yeah, he's actually Watangula's brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
But he's not made Westlands work. What? Okay, so he was to go for Wanyonyi was to go for governor, and Westlands is already flooding. So you can imagine Nairobi ingewak bado.
okay. Maybe I think this flooding thing. Okay, to some extent, it could beyond. I don't, okay, like I
Yeah,
don't. I don't.
it's beyond politicians, but they still have a lot to play.
They still have a role to play in it in terms of like urban planning,
Sure.
yeah, and making sure that because they also oversee a lot of these things like projects coming up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't maybe grill him too much because I don't know his real. But what on the corner is he was supposed to go for govern for the Nairobi
Governor seat.
governor seat, and then like he was sidestepped. Aliambiwa, you guys let this guy run, and that's when the beginning. That was the beginning of the end for Azimio.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Nairobi governor seat. Yeah, but all in all, like 22 elections showed that like the Nairobi as a county
Mm.
is very sober when it comes to voting, because Baba had the most votes in Baba beat Kenchikwan in Nairobi.
Yeah.
Then the second most voted person in the whole election was Sivuna.
Yeah.
Guy got like 600k votes, and he became a senator.
Yeah.
And then Sakaja governor, obviously.
Mm.
Then kuna hizi all these other positions,
The
but
seat.
from that you could see that there was some objectiveness, like they're just not going at the 6% you just want, like they saw that Sifuna was the best for this bit.
Yeah.
Sakaja looks like he can be a good governor more than this guy, so Sakaja, and then Baba. Yeah, so for me I don't think I have problem with Nairobi and Kiambu and surrounding environs,
Yeah.
even when we are talking about Kokadi. Like I think the Nairobi youth, the Nairobi people, and people around Nairobi
Yeah.
will just vote soberly. What do you think mtu mwenye ako Bungoma sahi, some like my grandma in Bungoma and my
Yeah.
cousins in Bungoma? So bro, I've been rolling for a minute now. Like I lost track of what you were talking about last time, but away from politics. Semezana.
Yeah.
How did that come about, and what Semezana?
Well, how Simazan came to be. Funny thing, it was a dream. So I had been podcasting for like 3 years. No, for like a year, with three of my co-hosts. Then after that, season one, even before we finished the first season, at around 2024, early, was like, God, I feel like there is somewhere I need to be in terms of the conversations that I need to take a different trajectory. So I had just got done with my uni, but yet to graduate for my undergrad. So one afternoon like today, I'm asleep in my house, taking an afternoon nap. Everything comes to mind. So I actually dream like I'm already seated and writing everything, the name, the slogan, the timing, the structure, everything. So I wake up at like 4-ish. I'm like, yo, what? Maybe let me confirm whatever I had, whether like it was a reality or not. So I write everything. Semezana, it's gonna be this and this, conversations for change, ABCD. I'm like, nah, did I just dream about this shit? So I call one of my bros, his name is Caleb. Laitete. So I'm like, bro, can we meet up? I think I've had a crazy dream. Help me confirm it. So we meet up. I tell him the idea is like, you know what, bro? If you have it, go for it. What do you need? I'm like, okay, I think we need a poster, a logo. So bro does all that within one night. The next day, we had a conversation poster out. And then Semizana started kickstarting off. But Semizana is a youth led digital platform and organization where we host conversations for change centered around youth and governance, gender equality, environmental sustainability, mental health awareness, and quality education. Quality education in the bit of civic awareness and well as the actual learning, the academia bit. We've done tours in campuses. Last year we were in Daystar. This year we were in KU Parklands. Yeah, engaging young people in diplomacy and electoral reforms, but also we ran a program in Dandora, Phase 5, a school called Ronald Primary School, where we've been able to support learners with learning materials and mentorship programs for quite a while in partnership with TFK. But starting something is never easy and it's crazy, bro. Trust me. You'll start in it, you're like, Jabez, you're one of the niggas I hope and expect to understand why I'm doing this. But Jabez is just like, okay, let me see what you're heading to. So you do it alone, you do it unsure. At times we might give up because I remember the first conversation we hosted, we had like 40 people streaming to the conversation because our conversations are majorly live, except for the podcast, which is on YouTube. So that day, people streamed in like 40 to 70. I was like, damn, it's gonna look like this, bruh. The next conversation were 12 of us. I was like, from like 40, which was the standard number, to 12. Am I doing the right thing? But looking back 1.5 years later, bro, I don't regret a bit. So that's a Mezana. Yeah, quite an amazing platform with an amazing team right now. Yeah, we're doing the most in the country for the Lord's work. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. But let me just start from the beginning. A couple of years ago, I read a book called, I think, Big Magic or something. Yeah, and they were talking about how sleep is important for someone, and someone who's trying to create something more creative, whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that the author is Elizabeth something. I've forgotten her name. Yeah, she was talking about how some of the great ideas were dreams. She was like, the periodic table
Uh-huh.
was a dream. Like
Okay.
Frankenstein, like that concept was a
Was a
dream.
dream as well.
Yeah, so um how important is sleep for you?
For me, sleep is very important because I'm not a night person. You want to engage me at night, you've lost me, bro. I'll be very unproductive. So personally, I value sleep. Funny thing, today even when you called me, I was asleep. Yeah, and actually, I would say I take meaningful naps and sleep the normal at least 7 to 8 hours, and that's when I get creative the most. I especially when I wake up early in the morning, my ideas will be flowing through. Also, worst of it all, I tend now to be super creative when doing house chores. Just give me the dishes. I'll think of ideas. The next time I'll be holding a notepad. Yeah. So sleep is very important. You shouldn't beat yourself, but there are folks who really tend to be productive now when other.
Okay, you guy, my guy, man.
Yeah.
Looks like we are back, man. Our technical hitches have been solved. We have new gear, new lights, new mic.
Yeah.
Bro, I think we're just sounding even better, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're just about to like continue this conversation. Talk about something else. We're talking about Semezana actually, and you're talking about asking you different questions. I remember the last thing I asked you was, what does being resourceful mean to you? Yeah, when you're starting something out, and then that's when you got interrupted. So you can just continue.
Definitely being resourceful is very important because we have that bit of having the right people with the right skills for the right reasons. Today, Jabez is an engineer. Tomorrow, he's able to do something engineer oriented with what we need. But also, at the very same time, it's very difficult to run a space without resources which are financial because we have time as a resource, we have skills as a resource, personnel as a resource, and also money. Everything revolves around money. It's at times we can achieve more when money is involved, but when it comes to starting up something, I don't think you really need to have money to start it up. You just need at least enough. I won't say much, enough for the little that you have to work with it around the ideas that you want to bring up, and then you are able to kickstart off. Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Now let me ask, how do you get people to believe in your vision? Because starting something like Samezana clearly depends on personnel, like the people who are helping you with some technical stuff, stuff with logistics and all the and operations. So how do you get people to believe in you when you don't have really good incentives for them to believe in your vision?
I think when they see you're able to do it, even alone. I ran Semezana as a space for 8 months solo. No assistance except for the graphics, who they get paid, and I would do content for myself, edit it, post it. I manage the socials. I think of the conversation you're going to have. But over time, people are like, he's doing it. I will want to be a part of it. Now, as they come on board, is when you make it clear to them, I don't have much to give. So the much I can offer is a space for us to grow together. But in terms of payment, we are yet there. Of course, it'll be there someday, but not right now. So that's how you get to have people to believe on your idea, but also when they see you're a person of strategy, you're a person of creating opportunities for them, because also be fair to them as well. Don't just be taking. Let it be a give one to take kind of relationship that you have with them. At the very same time, how will I say it? Hey, waone hata wewe there is something you can achieve. Yeah, if Jabez is telling me to support his podcast, what can he achieve alone in the podcast? Yeah, that's how at least people tend to believe with you. And it's something funny with human beings, they want to be involved with success. So if it fails, man, you're on your own. So you gotta be successful at some level. Of course, not the grandiose kind of things, but successful to some bit, and then they'll be able to uptake what you've already built and then help you continue building more. Yeah.
Okay, that's in order. Now, away from Semezana for a bit. So you have so much vigor and gusto for gender equality.
Yeah.
So what inspired you to be such a strong champion for gender equality, and what gaps did you see, so that it basically just motivated you to become a champion in gender equality?
Growing up in a male-centered household, because I have a brother, my dad, and then my mom. I think I was able to see how inequalities tend to happen because she's the only lady in the house. We come from church. She's the one going to make lunch for all of us. She's going to do ABCD. So I was asking, okay, it's fine. She can do that, but where is our place? But also, I grew up witnessing a lot of classmates whose parents were going through divorces out of gender-based violence. So I'm like, what do you mean Mama Sonso is amelazo si because she was beaten up by the husband? What do you mean alichomwa na maji? What do you mean she was shot dead by the husband? So gender-based violence is something now which pushed me to the gender space, not even any other thing, because when I champion for gender equality, ending violence is what is usually my main agenda. And of course, men need women, women need men, but violence is something that should not suffice for the two. men should not experience violence, neither should women do. So that is what motivated me to the gender space. But I think in my third year is when I started interacting with individuals in the space. So at least I was able to get grounding more and more. And women are beautiful beings. Who wouldn't love women being in a safe place and environment? Clock it. Yeah, so that's how I ended up now being in gender. And trust me, yeah, it's a good space, but also gender is a crazy space. You will meet ideologies in gender and you're like, what the hell is that? I ain't standing for that. For example, we have feminism. Feminism is a good thing. I'm a feminist myself, but feminism has various ways of feminism. We have the radical feminism who believe men are dogs, and if I'll put it in simple terms. But we also have liberal feminists who believe that if Jabez can go to school, Susan can go to school as well. So personally, I identify as a liberal feminist because we champion illegal reforms that bring equality. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you a question. Like you've talked about radical feminism. Yeah. I think for a long time now, I usually wake up and I just see myself being called a dog. Unprovoked. Every time. Yeah, and over time, like, you get called a dog so much, bro, and you're like, am I really a dog? Like, okay, what do you think that does to
If they call
someone?
you a dog, bark. If they call you a dog, just bark. For radical feminists, they've been labeled for the longest beta breath-throwing feminists who see men as useless and so on and so forth. We don't need men. I'm independent. But looking at feminism also, it is informed by a lot of things. For radical feminism, I'll say it's not African. It's Western. Because we have African feminism, which believes in womanism and in family, where Jabez needs a wife, and me as a wife, I need to do ABCD. Your wife needs to do 1, 2, 3. So that kind of feminism of men are dogs, it's something which is crept in because of media and all that. But if they call you a dog, just bark. Woof woof. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, but what a time to be a woman right now, bro.
Okay, why do you say that?
Because I like nowadays, I think we are in a much more peaceful time relatively. There's a war going on in the Middle East, and that's very unfortunate. But right now, we're not hunters and gatherers. We're not attacking each other, evil. So I feel like the world is more geared to favor men. Like, that raw strength is not needed anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like
You're not fighting a lion
we're not,
anymore.
yeah, we're not fighting lions. We're not doing that anymore. So I feel like women are in a better place to navigate like the modern day world. Yeah, and even interacting with them, bro, I usually get so much gain from them. And also, like, there's a lot of incentive for them. Like there's so many things that are started just for women. Like, this is a coding thing, but just for women. This is a creator thing, and we're only funding women. Okay. So, what do you think about that?
I think it's fair because we are yet to even reach to equality. Women still face a lot of inequalities. So when we see initiatives which are purely meant for women, programs supporting women only, they're much needed. But at the very same time, that does not suffice that the boy child sort of is left. But this is not a comparison game because we are far away from that because the needs are also different. What Jabez needs is not what Cindy needs. Yeah. So inequalities still exist. So for me, I still believe in those initiatives. We need more of them, but at the very same time, also, uh, they should not happen at the expense of boys or men. Of course, we've had them which come balanced, where even men are engaged as allies in as much as programs are for women. Personally, I'm into a lot of those. But also, we've had initiatives which start up and at times now they have to demean men for them to happen. I think it is a collaborative initiative that should happen for us to realize equality because no country in the entire world is yet to achieve gender equality. Yeah.
Okay. That's nice. So no country yet is.
No country.
is yet to achieve that. But I'd say we're on the right track with
We
all
are
the
trying our
initiatives,
best.
with all the incentives that are being brought about, and with all the empowerment. I think we're on track to get there sooner rather than later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're
Okay.
trying our best.
Okay. So aside from gender equality, Semezana. So what's your end game with all of these things? With Semezana, with gender equality, with advocacy, activism?
Oh God, what is my end game? In terms of that path, I'm not sure. Not thought of it. I'll just say I'm fucking around to find out. Yeah, where it will lead me. Oops. I hope when my son sees this in the future, he won't blame his dad for being vulgar. But anyway, yeah, I'm not sure, but I'm just working in ventures which I'm unsure of, just to see where it leads. Yeah, but me as a person, of course, there are those goals that I have as an individual that want to end up here. But what is my desire, for example, for Semezana? Of course, to be an established organization which is able to run independently and smoothly, because we are quite on a bumpy road. Resources, and we have a big reach to work with in terms of a lot of young people to reach out to. Yeah, advocacy is like supermarket. It's like a supermarket. You go to a supermarket, you shop, you shop, you shop, you shop for an hour or so, and you go to the counter. The goods are checked out by the cashier, and you have to pay. So advocacy is a space which you continue um, shopping, and then at the end of the day, when you come to paying the prices, where now it gets it dawns to you, because fighting corruption as a prize, fighting gender equality as a prize. Yeah, but they cannot go with you being silent. Activism is an everyday thing. You wake up to be an activist because you've just been an active citizen. Activism has also always been misinterpreted. Activism is basically being able to speak against bad governance. Yeah, or just being an active citizen where you understand your roles as a person. That's activism. So that's not something which you wear as a gown today and you remove. No, activism is an everyday thing. When you see the matatu driver overlapping, calling them out, when you see the corrupt police officer, when you want to bribe to get a job, yes, and you speak up, yeah, that's activism. Yeah, so for me, let's walk around and find out. Yeah.
Activism. Now that we're on that topic, I want to ask. We usually see so many atrocities being committed worldwide. Like whatever is happening in Iran. Uh, though it's not even a war, bro. I think it's a one-sided. It's a one-sided war between and Palestine. Yeah. And like we see all these atrocities, people's houses being leveled, hospitals being leveled by bombs, people being killed, you know children losing their fathers and mothers, fathers losing their sons and daughters, and what have you. Like we usually see these things even in Sudan, close to home, just north of Kenya. We usually see these things happening. So, and we usually repost, we usually talk about it, we usually have these conversations. But do you think that activism usually has an effect on whatever atrocities are being committed?
It always does. Trust me, there are places which activism stands in and prevents a lot. It may not always be visible, but when you even see people calling out, for example, sanctions and things to do with international wars, yeah, at times it might be to a minute scale, but it does something. Yeah, because silence proves that nobody cares, but when somebody speaks up, it proves somebody cares. So in as much as, for example, when the young people showed up on the streets and we demonstrated, that was activism, right? Because we're exercising our role as active citizens. Chapter Article 37. But did that do effects? Absolutely. Imagine if we never spoke about the finance bill. Imagine if we've not been speaking up about the slow voter registration we are seeing in IBC centers. Yeah, so always it may not be quantified on a big scale, but activism will Always, as long as it's been done constructively and meaningfully, it will always do something positive. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Are you an activist?
I'm an activist. I think I try as much as I can to champion for good.
Ah, nice.
But in terms of like, but you guys do it in. I don't know if it's like it's not a career, but it's like your thing,
A
like you.
daily thing.
It's a daily, But for me, like I'm just a guy who champions for good whenever I can, and whenever I'm required to, and whenever I can do it proactively. Yeah,
That's good.
yeah. And then speaking of, like, what do you think about the war between Iran, US, and they who shall not be named?
I don't know. About that war, it's unnecessary because I think it's defying the sovereignty of the involved countries who are victims of to the war. Um, it's also looking like it's a boys' balls measurement playground. Who has the biggest balls?
Measuring contest.
Real, exactly. So I'll say it's unnecessary because imagine how many children have been killed, how many women have been killed, how many fathers have been killed. It's a lot because it's affecting us from wherever we are in Kenya. We're now having shortage of oil, prices all the
Okay, man. Man, you guys, you have to go right now, man, cause time is not on our side. We got the new toys a bit late, but it's been a good experience. Upgrading the production quality. Yeah, the voice is crisp. The lighting is perfect, bro. Like you can see us very clearly. We'll upgrade our equipment soon, inshallah, as we grow. Yeah, but thank you for listening to us. I've been your host, Jabez. This has been a very exciting episode, bro. Bro, I'm excited. Like, I'm reeling that I did this, bro. And, like, I learned a lot from Jeremiah, aka Delvins, bro. You know me, I know you as Delvins. Yeah, I learned a lot, and I hope you did too. Yeah, so maybe I'll just give Jeremiah the mic to give us a parting shot for the second time. Yeah.
well. But I think to begin with, I'm so glad that we had this conversation. It was a good one. I enjoyed every bit of it, and my potential to just be aspect of us being active citizens, ukokadi. You will be cancelled if you have no voter's card. So please be registered as a voter. Other than that, yeah, let's be responsible people in how we take care of our environment, of the resources that we have. Please do not litter. Kikushika wewe. Yeah, but other than that, keep it live, keep it going. Jabez loves conversations. Yeah, such a nice, amazing podcast. You better subscribe, like, and share if you haven't.
You watched this far and you haven't subscribed.
Yeah, I'm sure there are gonna be new viewers. So also make sure you follow my boy on his socials. Link is on the bio of this episode. Yeah, you will enjoy every bit of it. But other than that, it's also been an honor being here. Tumezungumza mengi. Yeah, I'm sure you've loved it, right? You've checked it. Comment the best of your thoughts on the comment section. Love to read them. Appreciate. Peace out.
Definitely comment and keep the conversation going. But I've been your boy, Jabez, and we are out. Peace.